My name's JD. In 2025, I reached out to Vanderbilt Vivid Health seeking therapy services as a gender transitioning sexual trauma survivor. I wanted to investigate the current loopholes in our system and see if anything had changed. Instead of being connected with appropriate care, I was routed to a general answering services and ultimately redirected back to the switchboard without any meaningful assistance. This experience, occurring years after my initial consultation in 2019, underscores the persistent gaps in patient care. Individuals like myself are left without clear pathways to appropriate treatment, whether seeking therapy or detransitioner healthcare. The initial communication I received from Vanderbilt was consistently framed within an affirmation model that failed to take into account my lived experience as a sexual trauma survivor. Despite fully disclosing my trauma history to both the psychologist and physician, I was told that my medical transition was the most realistic path forward. My doctor even documented that I was not in a good emotional state, that I struggled with anxiety, and I demonstrated confusion in the decision-making process. But rather than addressing these concerns, the focus remained entirely on my dysphoria. My mental health issues were acknowledged in the doctor's notes, but they were not addressed in a diagnostic assessment. Even Vanderbilt's own plastic surgeon later told me that my concerns about receiving adequate mental health care were valid, yet for an entire year, this issue was allowed to fester without being addressed. House Bill 754 would help prevent this from happening to others by ensuring that mental health care is addressed on the front end rather than being sidelined in favor of an affirmation-first approach. Additionally, as a detransitioner, I now face significant challenges accessing corrective care. My recent experience at McCary Medical Center shows how the system continues to fail people like me. My healthcare was tracked under the vague code of transgender undefined. This improper coding not only misrepresents my current needs, but also creates additional barriers to receiving medically necessary care. Many detransitioners face similar struggles because there are no specific healthcare codes for our situation. Without the codes enshrined in Bill 754, insurance providers and healthcare systems have no framework to offer us the care that we need. As Jamie Reed, a whistleblower at the St. Louis Gender Clinic, said, "We are building the plane before we are flying it." And that's exactly what happened to me and many others. Now is the time to ground the process in thoughtful, comprehensive care that recognizes the full complexity of underlying comorbidities for sexual trauma survivors like myself, and one that does not merely leave people like me sifting through the wreckage. Thank you.
Thank you, and appreciate your testimony. Do we have questions